But I thought you said the market never goes down. Where?
All right, we're going to try something new today because I know a lot of you guys are out there hard of understanding. I don't know why I'm awake. I took my wife's advice and I actually went to sleep yesterday around 10:15 at night. My wife's done at 10:15. I don't even know what that means. Usually I'm going out if I am out. Not that I go out, but when I do go out, I'm going out at 11 o'clock. Anyway, but my voice is still shot. We went out the night, what was that, Tuesday night to the Rangers game, and then we did some singing. So I brought out the whiteboard today. We're going to try to go over some stuff, okay? Well, let's go back to March of 2012 for everybody that wants to debate me whether or not, things have been all right. See, in March of 2012, I was short the QQQ. Shorting it, meaning I wanted it to go down, right? And it went down for about a day or two and then skyrocketed in my face. Meaning I lost money on that trade. So then what happened was, after the Fed came out and pretty much said that they're never going to raise interest rates and they're going to support the market, I convinced my father to go balls deep into the QQQ by selling hundreds of puts, meaning that where the seller of the put, you want the stock to go up so the options expire and you get to keep the money. But out of a couple of hundred contracts, we got stuck with 50. So we would put 5,000 shares of the QQQ at around, I think it was around 62.50. QQQ 62.50. I told my dad, I was like, listen, considering this market's on cruise control, why don't we hang on to the market? Let's hang on till the end of the Obama regime. Doesn't matter who the president's going to be. Never did think it was going to be Trump 4 years ago. But I said January 20th at 1:43 p.m. to be exact, the Dow would hit 20,000. Now, but more importantly, I said the QQQ would hit 120. We already pretty much hit the 120. We're still in the Qs, all the Glick family still in the Qs, but we finally have begun to lighten up because my dad is a huge fan of the USO. Talking about how we had this conversation about manipulation and how everything's manipulated, and he said, you do realize that oil is the most manipulated thing there is on earth. They're never going to let it go down too much because all these countries need to keep making money and support. I don't want to get into my political views of the whole concept, but he started buying the Qs at selling puts at 8 and 9, and then he got put 20,000 USO and pretty much been selling calls against them for the last 3 or 4 months, and right now is rocking out in the USO. So other than that, he owns a few other stocks, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about me, because it's always about me. What am I doing? As you know, in the last video, I talked about how I'm a trader. I like to come in every morning and see what's going on and decide if I want to get involved. Like RIG yesterday. Sure, I was pissed off. Well, that's RIG. R-I-G. Now, I liked the stock back in the day, and then when it didn't break 13, we sold it, and then it tanked all the way down to about 9. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe we should leave this one alone because there were so many other good stocks. But then suddenly RIG started coming back. And yesterday, RIG broke past one of our targets, meaning, hey, maybe we should get back involved in RIG. So at $12 $13.80, we thought RIG could go to 1307, which was, let's call it the multi-VWAP, was the multi-VWAP. And if we could get from 1280 to 1307 on 1,000 shares, I'll do the math for you. It was $270. Now again, did we buy 1,000 shares? I base everything on 1,000 shares when I make some calls in the room. Some guys bought a couple of hundred shares, but I said if it could break 1307, just look for it to get to maybe 1325. And we didn't sell it at 1325. We wound up selling it back at the 1307. Now, am I recommending that you buy RIG today, tomorrow? No, that's yesterday's news. If you were there live in the room, but that's not even more. The more important thing was the MRO. Same thing with the RIG. Here's a stock that I've loved. Waited for it to break out. Next thing you know, it's breaking out without me on a gap. So I figured let me wait till it gets short. Now, if I had the charts up, and again, tomorrow I'm going to start, not going to see my face anymore. I'm going to talk over some charts because I finally got the charting software on this computer so I can go over it. So MRO, now the stock's up 20% and it's coming into a whole number. So what I like to do is I look to short. While everybody else is getting their asses kicked, shorting it at 1710, 1720, 1750. I was like, why don't we just wait? Let's see if this thing gets to 18 bucks. So when it broke 18, what they do is they'll break 18, and because a lot of shorts have their stop at 18, it just went up just a little bit to about 1804. You'll see it on the chart. So when it came back under the 1804, now we're thinking, all right, now we could use 1804 as our stop. So we shorted it at 17.99 using a 5-cent stop, and it pulled back a whopping 18 cents. So on 1,000 shares, we made, well, you want to do the math, short at 17.99, and really just covered it around, I think it was 17.83. So again, profitable day trade. If you want to be a day trader, this is what it's all about. Covered 17.83. Okay, but then what happened was MRO, it wasn't over yet. It broke the 1804, and then at that point you're thinking, all right, now that you broke this half number, this whole number, I'm thinking probably getting to 1850. So what happened? At 1850, people had their shorts on that were probably shorting the stock because shorters, man, nuts, crazy people. Why don't you wait till some half number, whole numbers to get violated or breached? Be sensible about it if you're going to short stocks. You know I love to short stocks, and I make fun of all you shorters out there because, and again, if you remember, I'm not making fun of you guys shorting stocks intraday trying to play some pullbacks. That's what trading's all about. But for you doomsday fucking morons out there who've been saying that you've been short the market for 4 years now, come on now. Now, who's the liar out there? There's no way you could take this pain. So at 1850, what it do is it stopped those people out, and it only did was go up to 1855. So at 1855, when it came back, now we're thinking, hey, maybe that is a short-term intermediate day top. So we use that 1855 as the stop. The stock goes back down to 1847, which is where we shorted it. And now we're looking for a retrace, maybe back to 1825. Again, we're not looking to get rich here. Plus, we're shorting stocks. We're insane. We're fucking nuts. We're shorting stocks. But again, this one's up 26% in a day. This isn't no dry ships. I mean, it is frightening shorting stocks nowadays because of dry ships. I mean, you saw that stock go from 4 to 120. There's going to be another one of those, but I don't think it was going to be an MRO. This is actually a real company with, a lot of shares out there. Not as easily manipulated as the dry ships. And by the way, we're going to get to the dry ships later, as they announced that one of the insiders bought shares. Everybody got excited. You do realize that was 3 weeks ago. He started the move by buying that block of shares and telling his friends to buy blocks of shares, and then they ran the stock. You do realize that's what happened, right? And that's all I'm going to say about that. So at 1847, we're shorting it. And we're using the 1855, the high print, as the stop. Because again, if it would have broke 1855, chances are this thing was going to rocket up to 19. And then who the hell knows? So using a nice conservative stop of 8 cents, then the stock starts to pull back. And we start covering at 1825. And now we're looking at that, remember the 1804 print? If it can get to 1804, that would be pretty awesome. And next thing you know, what did it do? Pulled back to 1804, we recovered, and this time it broke 1804 and actually went down to about 1780. And again, we were covering it from covered some at 18. I remember 1833, 1825, and then around 1804. So kind of missed that move. But again, profitable day trade. Not saying that I know what MRO is going to do today. I just trade stocks. But let's go back to the U.S. Steel and all you geniuses are out there that you're thinking that you could short this stock. Now, when Trump became president and U.S. Steel started rocking and rolling, my first emotion was, God damn it, I just had the stock at $18. So there it was, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And then I figured if this thing could break 27.50, which has been, this is X at 27.50. And I'm thinking here, geez, my God, this thing was just $17 and it had terrible earnings. But even though it had terrible earnings that day, it did hold the 17 area and started rocking up to about 18 and change, 18.25 I think it was, okay? So at 18.25, I'm already thinking, maybe that was the end of, I like when stocks can bounce on a bad earnings report, but that didn't get involved. I waited, and plus I was on vacation, and I was in Vegas. But at 27.50, I was thinking, you know what? You're probably going to get 5 more points out of this thing. So at 27.50, I don't know the exact price. It was round about here. 27. First bought a little bit at 27, I think it was, or 26.90. Bought some 27.40, I think 27.80, something like that. Suffice it to say, 27.50 was my cost average. And all I was looking for was a stock to get to 32, 32.50, which was a spot that it had trouble with, going back, I think 18 months ago. So when it hit 32.50, I was thinking, all right, I've won this trade. Let's put a stop on it. And I put a stop at 32.30 because I believe, 32.20. 32.20. You know why I used 32.20 that day, kids? Because that was where if it gapped up that day and was going red. So I thought, let's get out at 32.20, and that was on. That was a week ago today. So far the stock's pretty much gone down one day, up, down one, up, day. I don't own U.S. Steel anymore. I don't really care about what U.S. Steel does. And by the way, I'm not going to go through the whole thing with Alcoa and Arconic. Are out of those things too. I'm not going to not get out of those. Remember, I bought the ARNC. I actually bought more after ripping into that stock because I was sitting there waiting for my shares. Anyway, out of the Alcoa, out of the ARNC, out of the U.S. Steel, but now more importantly, Bank of America. And I know how much you guys want to short Bank of America out there, don't you? Oh, yeah. Woo! There's a good one. So Bank of America, another complete Trump fuck-up, was Bank of America. I was in that stock from about 16.50 cost average. What felt like 2 years waiting, selling some calls against it, waiting. And then finally, what happens? I think I had a stop on one day, goes down to 16. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm misrepresenting right now. My cost average was 16.90. I sold it at 16.50. Oh yeah, the story gets tragic. So my cost average is around 16.90, right? And I sold it at 16.50, which sucked after owning it all this time. I finally get out because I was like, you know what? Maybe this thing's rolling back to 15 bucks. I'll buy it again. What does it do? It goes down a whopping, I think it was 20 cents to about 16.30. And then starts to bounce. And then Trump wins, and the stock's right back to 17 and change. But I didn't get aggravated enough, plus I'm on vacation. I wasn't pissed off enough until it started getting past 17.50, and then 18, and then 18.50, and then my God, I can't believe this thing's at 19 without me. So I started nibbling around, 18.50, 19 bucks, thinking, all right, this thing's obviously going to go to 20. So then finally it's at 20.50, and then what happens? The stock's at 20.90, pulls back one day, And next thing you know, it's at 20.50. And I'm thinking maybe I should have sold it. But then it gaps up the next day and starts to roll back over, making me think, all right, I'll sell it here at 20.30. And if you look at the chart, fantastic price to sell. No. So it went down a whopping, I think, 4 cents to about 20.26, and then the next day proceeded to go up $1. So my question is, if you're shorting Bank of America, let's say you shorted it at 20.50 and it went to 20.90, did you cover? Unlimited funds, right? Unlimited funds. So then you didn't cover. So maybe you added some. Now then it went back down to 20.30. Did you cover? Or did you add more because you think it's actually going to go lower? So if you did add more at 20.30 and then it rocked back up to 21 yesterday, did you cover? Or do you have unlimited funds and you just keep on funneling it into the Bank of America short, waiting for it to go down? I'd like to know, because again, I'd like to learn how you could stand the pain, because I'm done shorting for more than a day. I will pretty much, the only thing I will do is I'll sell some out of the money calls on the QQQ when I think the market's weak, but I will not stay short a stock overnight. Even if I think the market's crashing the next day. It's just not worth it. I don't even think it's worth it owning too much stock right now. I love being liquid, where I could come in and joke around and do whiteboard videos with you and not have to care about a thing. But what I want to know is, where's your pain threshold? I don't know if you heard that screaming in the background, and my daughter had a spider in her bed. I'm thinking she's getting kidnapped or something. It's nuts. So back to the pain threshold of the Bank of America short, that all you geniuses are thinking that it's a good idea. Now, where's the pain threshold? So let's say you added more yesterday because you have unlimited funds, and I think it's over $21 now. So it's 21.20, right? Now, again, I sort of agree that Bank of America going from 16 to 21 without a pullback of any, well, then again, you had a pullback one of those days. I think it was down 50 cents. Where's the pain threshold? You're just going to claim to be shorting Bank of America, and just as it keeps on going up. So again, as a trader, there's a pain threshold where you got to say, all right, this trade's wrong. For me, it's usually 12 cents, 15 cents when something goes against me. You know, I'm really ready to get out of the trade. Okay? So I just want to know. I just want to learn me. Teach me the ways of unlimited funds, because I don't fully grasp it. Now we'll talk about UVXY. Obviously the UVXY. Now we were doing a video. I was gonna put this video together. I called ProShares, and what started out as a prank phone call turned into a very informative, fun, informative call. I gotta edit it down. I don't want to put this girl, the woman's voice, the woman's name on the video, but you guys will get a kick out of it. You never want to own this thing because it's a disintegrating product. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. I think you know that it's not worth owning it. But I don't know. Can I draw the line? If you look at a chart for a couple of years, that's basically what it looks like, and then it flatlines because all it does is go down. It does have every once in a while a moment of fear that hits the market. But the UVXY. Now, there's guys out there claiming that they make money buying this stock. So we're talking about, what, July, right? July was the last time it had a move from, what, I think it went from 18 to 30, and then it went back down to $10, and they reverse split it. So right now it's trading at 10, which reverse split, it's really at $1. So if you're in from 30, I'm curious. Did you sell it now that you're down 99% on your money? Or do you keep buying more because you have unlimited funds? And you do realize, just like the dry ships, I don't know if you guys understand what a reverse split is. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you should come hang out with me. I'll tell you what a reverse split is. They take the shares out of the market. Okay, so if you have 1,000 shares and it goes down to 10 cents, they bring the stock back to $10, but they take 900 of your shares away. So now you only have 100 shares. So my dad, who had 1,000 shares of dry ships from like $4 like 5 years ago, Do you realize that even though that stock went from $4, so he had 1,000 shares at 4, which in reality cost him 1,000 shares at $4 was $4 grand, and that was, God, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Even though the stock went from $4 to 120, even at 120, he was still down about $3,600 on the position. So put that in perspective. That's what UVXY is all about. UVXY, they just let it go down to nothing, and then they reverse split it, and then you think it's going to go up, and then it goes back down. So again, if you bought UVXY yesterday at 10.50, I liked it. But do you want to own UVXY? Even if there is a market crash, chances are it'll go up for 2 or 3 days, and yeah, you'll get paid 10, maybe let's see, if it's at 10.50 now and the market starts to get hammered today, you'll get 20% out of it. And then if the market starts getting slaughtered and there's saber rattling, which is one of my favorite terms, that means the nations are shaking their sabers ready for war. Different countries are uprising, nuclear threats. Who knows what's going to happen, right? Terrorists. It's always usually the go-to answer if you ever want to. Or worldwide pandemic. That also helps too. China pandemic or nuclear attack. That's what makes UVXY go up. So if that's what you're betting on, good for you. Good for you. But UVXY yesterday at 10.50 broke over, crossed over the VWAP, went green, and we made 8 cents on it. It's fantastic. But if you're out there telling me that you're buying UVXY and you're still buying UVXY and you're going to hold UVXY, let me know how that works out. Because I know the same people that were talking about owning UVXY in July are still the same people who are talking about buying it now. All you lunatics on YouTube and stock twits who still get insulted when I talk about how UVXY will inevitably go to zero. Am I right? Or am I wrong that inevitably it does go to zero? Inevitably it does go to zero. Doesn't it? Am I not seeing the same chart that maybe I'm in the padded cell already? That's why I make these videos, just to prove that I'm alive and that I'm truly not in the matrix. Or maybe this is a subset of the matrix in the padded cell that I'm in when I wake up from the dream, from being in the matrix, in the Inception movie, and all the buildings are going to start moving around. I don't know. Maybe this is all bullshit. I don't know. I know my daughter was just screaming about a spider. That felt pretty real as I'm running, thinking that she's hurt. Anyway, so in reality, UVXY seems to go down all the time. Just like when I say the market never goes down. It does go down every once in a while. But if you have been following along since March of 2012, I don't know, what do we have? 2 moments, 3 moments. We had this July, looked pretty dicey for the market. Remember when I called the lows of the day, I said the market would never go, the Qs would never break 108, and we broke 108. We went down like another 5 or 6 points. What'd that get you if you sold? Loss. Oh yeah, let's just recap another one. Remember Fitbit, FIT, I know they had some news today. That would be Fitbit, and another one of you guys, your YouTubers and your stock twits guys out there, and Twitter condemning me for making fun of this as being the next GoPro. Because not only was it a fad, their product doesn't work, nobody gives a shit, and the stock was $40. And it wasn't going anywhere. All it had to do was have 1 quarter to prove themselves, and they couldn't even fudge the numbers the first quarter. Or maybe they did. It was the second quarter. Suffice it to say, the stock went from 40 to 8. And if you want to go dig up the video somewhere in the beginning of the year when I said this probably will be one of your best trades of the year, boom, chalk that shit up. Because still waiting for it to bounce, are you? How's that GoPro working out for you, too? I remember I got insulted. My mom was insulted. Somebody told my family to burn. You guys on Stock Twits, just a lovely bunch of people. Lovely bunch. I mean, not all of you. I mean, there's a nice group of you guys that are awesome and I love you. But oh, you peasants and serfs and cretins and scumbags, I hope you all burn in hell. Oh, just throwing again. I'm not a mean guy, but when you insult the family and you're telling me that I hope my house burns down because I'm insulting your stock. All I said was if GoPro broke 65, it could go to $20. Next thing you know, my mom's is a cocksucker in hell. I mean, not to that extreme, but I caught some grief and how it was I didn't know my shit and go suck a blah blah blah, and that GoPro was a social media company that I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand. You do realize I don't care about what any of these companies do, except Fitbit, because that was hilarious. That they're actually it's a piece of plastic that could count your heartbeat. Ooh. I think the Apple Watch does that also, and it does other stuff too. Not that the Apple Watch was a great product, but that's the point. If the Apple Watch sucks, why the hell would you want to own a Fitbit? But then again, if you want to own a Fitbit just because you're a trendy douche, go ahead. But why would you want to own stock in the company? Anyway, so there you go. There's one call. Remember the Fitbit from 40 to 8? I said you probably want to cover around 12. Sorry. How about the AMD? Remember I was talking about how it's a new chip company and it's coming out of this 3-year malaise again. We had some fun with it back in the day, and I suggested buying it at $350 with a target of $12 a year. I gave it an 18-month target. So if you bought it at $350, we are right on schedule to get up to $12. But I tell you something, I'm down to just 20% of the position that I had from $350. So am I telling you to sell the AMD? No, I'm telling you to be a little cautious here. We've had a beautiful move. Why not take something off the table? So again, I just still want to know about your UVXY, guys. When do you sell? So let's say it does pop to 14. Are you going to get out, or are you going to hang on and look for that $18, $20, $30 move into the Christmas crash, right? We're going to have a Christmas crash, as I'm read on the internet. Inevitably going to crash before the end of the year. Again, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. Won't bother me one bit, but I'm just curious. How do you do it? How do you stay short when you have margin calls? Legitimately, I'm asking you this question. I'm not joking around. How do you do it? How do you stay short Bank of America, U.S. Steel, the QQQ, and long the UVXY? How do you do it? Or you have one share? Because if you have one share, then, I mean, U.S. Steel go to 100, you're down $70. So, I don't know. Maybe you got one share. Maybe you don't. Or maybe you just don't have any shares. Maybe you don't trade. I know the guy that sent me an email about finding the Lord doesn't trade. Anybody that into Jesus who has to send me an email about mending my evil ways and finding the Lord, you're probably not a trader. Am I right, guy? Am I probably right about that? And how you're calling for the end of the world, an inevitable crash before the end of 2016? I do appreciate the email, and part of the email, he was concerned for my health and my well-being. I don't appreciate the fact that you said that I'm probably the worst father in the world. Because, I'm the best, bro. The best. So go, I don't want to get into the whole Jesus thing, but go ahead and have some fun, God boy. All right. So there you go. Guess what? I didn't mention anything about today, right? Because I don't know what I'm going to do today. But I'll tell you one thing. Let me just remind you, I sold U.S. Steel at $32.20 on Thursday. Might be a good sell, might have not been a good sell. Sold Bank of America, what was that, 2 days ago at $20.30? Obviously a bad sell. Naked Strangles on QQQ. Do you know what even that means? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. And then we got the shitty stock ACG and CLDX. I got a little bit. I bought some. I sold some for a profit. I bought it back, and now it's down. Down 15 cents. On an investment at, 705 to see the stock at 690. I'm thinking about selling blood and sperm to, support the family now because the stock's down 15 cents. I don't know what I'm going to do. If it drops another 15 cents today, I might be, I might have to sell the fancy stock to its hat on eBay to try to pay for my trade here. Now, I like what they do. There are a bunch of lawyers sitting around waiting to sue people. Scum of the earth, probably. But you know what? I'm assuming they're going to manipulate that stock back to 10 bucks one day. So I bought some. What can I tell you? It sucks. It goes back and forth between 6 and 750. And just like Bank of America, if I sold all my ACG, I'm sure it'll go to 10 bucks. So I got a little bit left. What can I tell you, kids? The only way you're going to actually learn about what we're doing, and again, I'm not here to give you stock picks. You understand? I don't know where the market's going to go over the next 3 years. I'm biased to the upside. I've been biased to the upside. I've been talking about how the market never goes down. Maybe you bought the Qs and have been in it the whole time. Maybe you've been shorting UVXY this whole time. Maybe you shorted Fitbit. Maybe you bought AMD. Maybe you bought US Steel. Maybe you bought whatever. But most of the ideas I've been spewing on here, I don't know. You could take a video from 5 years ago where I said the market never goes down and see that the market went down the next day. So, there was also a video where I liked US Steel short, and then it went up 20 points from that video. So what? What's the difference? Nothing matters except what we do today and tomorrow, right? All right. I'll see you in cyberspace, kids. And tomorrow we'll look at some charts.